Good evening, everyone. This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting. It is Thursday, September 28th, 2023. Commissioners in attendance this evening, Jeremiah. Behind the mask, as member, we have George Bacon, member, Jess Gugino, member clerk, Mark Phillips, vice chair, myself, John Schmallenberger as chair, Heather Hampson as our conservation agent. Do we have confirmation of agenda?
There's no changes to the agenda.
All right, motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Approval of the meeting minutes for August 24th, 2023.
September 24th.
September 14th.
What's it say down there?
Oh, it says August. Oh, shoot.
Oh,
It's supposed to be September 14th.
If it's down here, I just read it.
I think,
Yeah, I didn't change it. I apologize. We'll have to table them to the next meeting.
I don't think so.
What?
You don't have to?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
I'm sorry. I usually double check those things.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
so,
Approval of meeting minutes for September 24th.
September 14th.
14th.
Oh, it had Boat Park Road?
Read it right. Oh, yeah, it says
September 14th.
August 24th.
So
Yeah, it's-
that makes up for the time that I forgot to change the date
On the top.
of my minutes, so. It happens.
Just double check these
Okay,
things.
so approval of the meeting minutes for September 14th, 2023. Got the year right.
It's always a plus.
Any changes?
No, I don't have any.
I put in a lot of detail about solar too.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 14th, 2023 as written.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Beaver Solutions proposal.
Yes.
Replacement of the pond leveler at Rod and Gun Club Dam.
Yes, so there have been a few complaints coming in around the area of the water being overly high. I can't remember which gentleman it was from Beaver Solutions to call. I think it was Mike Callahan. The leveler has failed over there. It's not part of their regular maintenance, so it has to be fixed. So there is a proposal for a total of $2,290. That will include the removal of the old leveler, installation of a new one, and they are going to, I guess there's a pipe that beavers have actually been chewing on that runs for the pond leveler, so they're gonna wrap that new 40-foot long pipe in a metal mesh so the beavers don't chew on it. The invoice does include a 10% discount because we do have a maintenance plan with them. So so as far as you know, I didn't know how these normally went in the past, if you guys voted on them or not, but I
Yeah.
wanted to bring it to you guys for discussion before I said, yes, please send me a proposal and I'll have you guys discuss it.
Where is this one exactly?
This is over by it says at the Rover Garden Club of Dam 1. I know I got complaints, Dan had gotten complaints from National Grid saying that over by Snake Hill Road that their wattles were underwater, so I would assume it's because of this, it's all in that same area.
Is this the one near the bridge? Or is this on the Rod and Gun Club
I think
property?
it's on the Rod and Gun Club property.
I've never seen that one.
We didn't install that one, did we?
No.
It was one they maintain, so,
Yeah,
It's
but,
probably the one that goes out to the range.
yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of the ones they maintain for us, so I don't have a list of
But I don't know that,
It was, what did he say? It was like 8 years old. It's not a new one. It has been there for a while. Does it say in here how old it is?
I don't think.
No,
they-
but it wasn't like it's just been there for a while. It's been there for like,
The deceiver, then that's already there, right? Basically.
Yeah, but I don't think it's one we installed. Did we?
Not that I recall.
Yeah. So that's why it's not on our annual maintenance?
no, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes, but because it's a leveler, it's not the deceiver. It's a different, so, and it's a different,
Okay.
That's what I was
it's on the
wondering.
list. Yeah, it's on the list of the things that they maintain. It's now failed, so they have to replace it.
Yeah.
How did it fail?
The beavers chewed on it.
That's it? You chewed on it?
Total
Shoot a
cost is
lot.
to remove old leveler materials from the pond, including disposal. Yeah, he
What's the
said that
difference between a
it
leveler
didn't
and a
fail. Deceiver is the cage that goes over that keeps them from damming. This is, I think, a pipe that kind of flows under, so they keeps the water going even if it dams up. So, and it's 40-foot long pipe. That's the part of the leveler, so it keeps the water flowing. And the beavers have eaten the pipe. That's why they got to put metal mesh on the new one.
It goes back into the pond
Yeah.
and then elbows up so that the pond will stay at the same level no matter how
Much
high the
damage.
dam is.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's just a pipe and
Yeah.
that's what failed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I thought that's what the deceivers were, in the sense that they were basically allowing the water to keep flowing.
There's different things
regardless.
that they use, I think, depending on
It's
the
got
pond and dam.
that cage where they can dam but not be effective.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't remember us doing this one, and whether it was maybe the DPW or the Rod and Gun Club itself. Should we,
I have no clue.
I don't know. I always assumed they would know which ones they maintain for which department.
yeah, so maybe talk to Mike Callahan and
Okay. Just
see
verify.
who installed it, or
Okay.
who was it installed for?
Or, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But if it is indeed ours, then I'm good to process this though and get the invoice and have them go ahead if it is indeed ours. Okay.
That'd be fine with me.
I can do that. I just get the maintenance one. I'm like, yes, please maintain them. That sounds good. We have money for that. But I will do that. I will give him a call tomorrow and double check that. And then if it's all good that it is ours, I'll just have him proceed with the work on that. Okay.
Okay, anything else with that?
Nope.
All good? Public input. I see no public. I believe you're on the schedule. You're on the agenda. All right, our first item this evening is a continued public hearing, notice of intent, DEP file number 100-0485, 201 to 205 West Main Street.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know if we need it, but I'm happy to plug it in.
If we need to, we can do that.
Just have my little thumb drive for
Yeah,
documents if
do
we
we
need them.
want to put that up on the
You
screen
want to put
or?
anything up on the screen?
Sure, you
Yes,
got it. Yep.
Just take me a second to get it warmed up.
Thank you.
That's nice. That's nice. Excuse my reach so I can log into it. I have to always look up the password. I never remember it. Every time I do it all the time. Oh, that's why. There we go.
Yeah, I can get into my emails the way you told me about. Pretty slick.
There we go.
I was
Yeah.
successful.
Where's the mouse?
Mouse?
There it is. Oh. Thank you. Which one would it be?
Yeah, yes.
And then I'll let you
Sure.
find it on from there.
Just call up the plans for, we don't need Zoom, do we?
No, it just automatically opens.
And you're Drew Garvin, right?
Yeah, sorry, I'll introduce myself when I bring it up. Just
Okay.
trying to get there. Here we go. Let's go to this guy. Okay, so it has been a little bit since the last time I was here with you. I think it was August 10th. And I'm Drew Garvin with Bowler, the engineer for the project. There are a few things we were waiting on to get it closed last time. One of them was natural heritage feedback on the habitat, and that letter did come back as not an issue, no take. So we checked that one off. And we were also required to file, you guys brought it to our attention, as did planning board, to file a ZBA special permit for the flood overlay district. That has been filed and was approved September 20th, so last week, Wednesday, I believe. So that was approved by, oh yeah, and Jess was there, so she can speak to that as well. And then the other item was sort of waiting on progress from the planning board, which we are in front of at this time as well. And we have made some progress, particularly regarding peer reviews. Decision was made to get a traffic and parking peer review study only. And so that is being coordinated and going to be reviewed by the chosen peer reviewer. And that was the only one required. DPW did review the drainage and has not had any problem. As stated, that they have no problem with their drainage at this time. I should say the plans that we're looking at on September 15th, we made some small revisions to these plans, along with a formal response to a general department head letter addressing comments that were given at the start of the planning board hearings, as well as Danny Ruiz's own comments, which had some crossover, but so there were two response letters given. We gave you copies in your packages just to copy you on that progress. Just speaking to the revisions made, we've discussed the snow storage areas that have been added to the plan. And we also added, kind of expanded, I should say, this island to allow for some planting area to break up the overall. If you remember, this is the building areas here, shaded, retail in the front, apartment, then 3 stories of apartments above. But this is open underneath, and they wanted to kind of break up this open parking area with at least a bit of planting beyond what is obviously will be behind it. So we kind of tried to do a little pushing and pulling to allow for like approximately a 4-foot island to allow for some plantings to take place. And that's how we've left it with planning. So we felt that was, we still have work to do with planning, but I think we are making progress, and I was hoping that, I'm happy to answer any additional questions that the commission may have tonight, but I'm hoping that we have made enough progress that we could move towards closing this hearing and working towards a draft order of conditions for the project.
Can you show where the changes are for the snow storage?
Yeah, there are just 2 small areas, one here.
Which,
In rear.
just so you know, John, that dashed line just north of that is the 100-foot buffer.
That's the flood.
Or floodplain. It doesn't matter, floodplain is still jurisdictional.
Yeah, sure.
Conservation
No,
Commission.
just to be clear, this is the floodplain line.
So, excuse me, floodplain
And
line.
here's the buffer zone lines, 50 and 100-foot buffer zone lines.
Excuse me, sorry, so that's the floodplain line,
Right.
which still falls under conservation.
Yeah. And
But you haven't changed the size of it, you just identified it, essentially.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And the same thing here. We just kind of highlighted it. You know, it was brought up at previous times I met with you, as well as planning. So we highlighted it just for the record, as well as we have language that obviously that's not enough to deal with the snow that we get up here in New England. There is a snow maintenance program that will run with the building that will be, snow will be removed from the site as needed based on storms. So these are more, some temporary storage areas until they can get it removed from the site as needed.
Okay, so if it gets that large to the scalloped edges, let's say, creating this big massive pile right in the middle, kind of cutting off egress and such, I'm assuming, like you said, that's something that's removed,
Yes.
like within that day or
Yes.
something?
It's going to have to be immediately
Okay.
to keep up with, if there was any significant storm events in the winter like we can get up here.
And down by the entrance, is that just a bubble for something else, or is that actually?
No, so the bubbles are revisions.
Yeah.
So it is a little convoluted. There's a smaller dash line there. That's the snow removal area, and then the bubble is the revision around it.
It
okay,
caught me off guard too.
Sorry, yes.
It caught me off guard too when I was
Yeah,
reading it.
yes.
I go, because the bubbles show up in other places, so I knew it couldn't be the snow storage, but when you look at it on the north part of the plan, in the top part, it looks like that's the snow storage.
No,
But it's not. It's the
notes.
weird.
That's
It's
the bubble,
the notes.
The
this is the
note.
change.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, I
Yeah,
should
know
have
that, but
clarified
yeah,
that.
that was like, okay, kind of.
So, and there's a little bit bigger bubblage here because we've added notes in here as well, and then this
Gotcha.
island that I described. So this kind of encompasses this whole revision to some notes regarding to some planning comments.
Gotcha. Okay,
So,
thanks.
yes, that's good clarification. But I'm happy to answer questions. I didn't know if, again, I think we've addressed the concerns that have come up in the previous hearings. So,
What is the planned timing of construction? Like, I don't know, let's say everything goes through,
You finish your question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
everything goes through in the next month or two. Construction starts next spring, construction starts in the winter, or?
I am not 100% sure. I would guess the owner isn't here. I don't want to speak for his plan. There's financing involved and all those kind of things. But I would imagine they want to get right to it in the spring, if that's possible. Yes.
Okay.
Within the new packet, there is a housing protection plan or whatever, and within that, there is a timeline of construction in there, I think with a full build-out 100% by 2025.
2025 is a 12-month long window. Like, did they, like January 2025?
I'll breeze through it real quick, but
Yeah,
it
sorry, I'm
is
aware.
in that packet.
Is it in this top?
Yeah, it is in this one right here.
Is that the unit analysis?
Yeah.
Is the snow removal still in there as well?
So the snow removal plan is actually within the operation and maintenance plan, which I reviewed, and I have a question. Yeah, you sure can.
Does that detail how you're gonna be treating the parking lot? Like, is it salted? Is it-
Yeah, that's what my
Yes.
question is in regards. So, just because for my own item, so it's the primary agent used for de-icing the parking lot and sidewalks, access roads of salt alternatives such as calcium carbonate and or potassium chloride or sodium chloride. Sodium chloride would just be regular table salt, right? So we don't want to see that because that wouldn't be a salt alternative, that is legit salt.
Is that all one word?
Sodium chloride is one word.
No, I mean with the one before it.
Yep, so what we have here is, I'll read it to you. The primary agents used for de-icing at parking lot, sidewalks, and access roads shall consist of salt alternatives such as calcium carbonate or potassium chloride or sodium chloride.
Okay, so there's no word in between
Yeah,
there.
we do not want to see sodium chloride, obviously, because that is just regular road salt.
Sure.
My question is, because I just don't know. I know that one. I have no idea what calcium bicarbonate is or potassium chloride.
So they're salt, I mean, I am not an expert, they're salt alternatives, so this has been coming up a lot
Yeah.
in when we do these projects. And so we have some standard salt alternatives. I can't explain them any more than
Yeah,
that.
I just didn't know if you'd be willing, I would just want to ask the question to other agents or anything around the town, just to have in the state, just to have an idea of what they're using for alternatives and if these are acceptable ones. I just hadn't had the opportunity to do that.
So again, they have been acceptable in other projects in other towns. I know this is your town and you have, you want to do things your way, which we are happy. So I'm happy. I mean, we can absolutely, I'll need to strike that last item if that's
Please do.
not appropriate. So, but, obviously we can amend the operation and maintenance plan language, as a condition. That's not a big lift at all. And I can even, there probably are people, my peers in my company that could maybe speak a little bit
That
better
would
to
be,
these salt
yeah, I
alternatives, and
think,
can try to
I
give
think
you
I
that
would like to
information.
have more information on those salt alternatives.
Sure.
That'd be great.
And to ensure that that sodium chloride item is stricken from that, because that would not be an alternative. And then I do have one other question when the commission's all done.
Well, we leave the snow removal. It seems to me that any event at all is going to fill those things up. I mean, it could be a dusting and it's going to fill those storage things up, it seems to me.
No, I wouldn't say that because obviously there's an elevation you can put to it, so it's not just.
Oh, I understand,
But and again, this is not a full open area, so there is, it is not.
Right.
You're only talking about really this open area.
Yeah.
So.
But when they do plow, they're going to have to figure out how to do it, the best way to do it. They're going to have to shove it to the sides to begin with and then deal with it from
Right.
there, I'm assuming. While it's all sitting there, I mean, you get a warm day, it's going to be, are they going to get rid of that instantly? Are they going to remove that stuff immediately?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a case-by-case basis, but yes, the way I picture it, and we haven't, written language to this, but it would be part of again, the building maintenance plan.
Yep.
I would imagine in my mind they would have like the little, John Deere kind of unit on site to work in these tight spaces, and around cars and in and around things, and then have to call in, obviously, a bigger truck to load it into to get to remove it.
Yeah.
So in its simplest form. If it's a 1-inch storm, and they look at the weather and it might be warm the next day or two, they'd probably let it fly. Again, I can't. And then if they get another storm on top of that, then they'd have to deal with it. Accordingly, the guy would be, there's going to be a maintenance staff, I don't know if it's 1 or 4 people on the property all the time. So they can constantly monitor what's happening, and it's not just snow, it's going to be running the building, right? So they're going to be constantly doing what it takes to maintain the building, including that snow removal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's one of the concerns that, though, looking at on a parking standpoint and on the planning side, when you say you're going to have a machinery parked there, where? So that's, what I mean, you'd have to do that, and that's fine, but then you're taking up one of the limited parking spaces. When I look at a snow storage, a snow removal, and you're going to have to bring the equipment in every time it snows, I don't understand where it's going to go when there is a parking ban due to a snow emergency, and you can't park it on site to unload it. That's
Might
where
be a local contractor that has it on their site.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of ways to
These are
skin
just
cat.
things that I just think of, because I'm
Yeah.
just being someone who used to
Sure.
plow snow.
I mean, I think there's, the applicant DMG
Yeah.
has a lot of these buildings, they run a lot of these buildings, this is not new to them.
Yep.
There's plenty of ways to skin the cat. I think, if it doesn't help, it's in their best interest to maintain the property for their tenants, so they intend to do so.
Yeah.
You can put that in as a perpetual condition in in the COC that would allow us to inspect after major snow events too.
Okay.
Just to ensure things are moving, at least the first few years, or first few events.
Sure.
If we still have snow.
Not sure what to, I'm not sure if I should hope for that, or hope for not, or what.
Anybody?
One of the issues I have with the chemicals is that, 10 years from now or so, you got new staff, maybe even new owners, and they don't know what was said here. So we'd like to see maybe a sign up somewhere saying, no sodium-based chemicals.
Yeah, I know we've done that on other sites. I don't think we would have an issue with that.
Yeah, and it's the bullet before the salt alternative agent states that sand and de-icing chemicals should be stockpiled under covered storage facilities. So it sounds like it's going to be, it just makes it sound like it's stored on site. So that's just another reason we need to figure out what it is that's going to be used on site.
Right.
That bullet makes it sound like these things are going to be stockpiled on site, covered, but still, it's like, do I really want a giant pile of potassium chloride out there?
And again,
have no
I think
idea.
we're happy to tailor that language or include it in the order of conditions to whatever you're comfortable with. I think that speaks to more, you're going to need small amounts for walkways and things immediately. And then you'll have, again, a contractor coming in to deal with the overall parking area and the larger quantities.
Yeah, I think to your point, yeah, it would be like a trash barrel or whatever, in
Right.
order to stand those. But the way this makes it sound, it almost makes it sound like these are large amounts. So I think maybe even spelling that out in that bullet point, as how much the storage is going to be, like it's small amounts of, 8 gallons containers or something like that,
Sure.
might be better detailed in regards
Specify
to.
smaller amounts of salt storage.
Yeah, I think, if that's what that point is supposed to be, I think spelling it out would make more sense, because reading it could, to me, it could be a
De-icing storage.
stockpile for salt in the entire parking lot.
Sure.
The non-salt alternatives, not
Yeah.
Right.
salt storage.
Right, that's what I'm saying, de-icing storage or no salt de-icing. And again, I assume these are all things that we can, when a draft order condition is written, we can provide language and then you guys can approve or edit as appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, and as long as we specify some things, a condition in a perpetual condition, this is what town council said, if we specify that and put it in a COC, then,
Yes.
yeah, so we could inspect away. Provided, of course, you're never leaving us. 20 years from now, none of us will be here.
How perpetual are you, Heather?
We'll see how all these projects go. We can only take so many difficult ones.
That's okay. Jen's locking it away.
Oh, yeah, it's in the vault.
She's perpetual.
Anybody else have any other comments, questions?
I just have one in regards to the comment letter from town planner regards to the location of a dog walk area.
Yes.
In the comment back, it stated to be in the area behind the parking and adjacent to the emergency access area. It's not actually shown on the plans. I don't think the commission would like to see it behind the parking area, because any having dog walking and dog waste storage within the floodplain and/or resource area, that would not be.
It would be really here, which is not in either.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because
Yeah.
that comment didn't really spell it out and it wasn't shown on the plans.
No, and to be clear, it's a bit of a work in progress as far as that kind of a detail, but this is
I
the
understand.
intention of where that area would
Yeah,
be.
I understand that. Just was
Yeah.
first time anyone's been back before since this has been submitted, so I just wanted
Sure
to make
thing.
that comment known. That was the only thing that I really found besides the salt alternatives.
I'm sorry, you said this at the beginning, but can you remind me how many apartments, how many housing units?
170 units.
Thank you.
And again, there is some retail space in the front here.
Do you know about how many spots, how many storefronts or retail spots?
Right now, we're showing these two separate storefronts. We have no tenants in mind. They're not, we don't know what's gonna fill them. But as part of this application, just for information purposes, that this is required to have some retail aspect to it
Okay.
for this zone.
Great,
So,
thank you for that.
sure thing.
I have a question. So you need to get a waiver from the planning board on parking spaces?
Correct.
Right.
and unit
Is there
size.
a chance if the planning board doesn't give you that waiver that you would have to expand parking?
Yes, or abandon the project. I mean, we would need to,
Okay.
as of today, this is our plan that we're going with, that we want to build, that is financially feasible for my client, and, it took us a long time to get to this point. If there is a hang-up on parking and we have to alternate it somehow, we have a number of kind of alternatives in mind that we're possibly going to work through and working through with the planning board. But, if the layout has to change, we're obviously aware that we need to come back and revisit this, reopen this with you guys. I would say that I don't, not knowing the future, but I don't intend, whatever change may be made in the future, I don't foresee us going any further into the resource areas than we've already designed. We've kind of framed our work area with those two walls here. We have walls here. We are taking some floodplain here and not recovering is not the word, but compensating for the flood storage area here. And we have this other retaining wall here that, the grade just banks right down to the wetlands. So this is really framing our work area. And I don't, barring anything significant, and again, we'd have to come back to you regardless. I don't see us going any further into the resource areas or your things that you have jurisdiction over that would impact, the plan as we have it today.
And just, it's not just the parking waiver, there's also a waiver in regards to the unit size.
Yeah.
So there is the two. I do want to make the point that if the commission does decide to move forward and issue the order of conditions on this, that does not give any leeway on what the planning board decides to do, have any after effect of what the planning board does. It's two separate boards. Approving the project absolutely has no financial impact on the project whatsoever. Ours is just looking at the minimum amount of work within the wetlands. I don't need anybody to think that what our approval has any hearsay on anybody else's board or commission. It's just, I think what is shown here is the extent of what would be built anyway if it were to be built on site.
Exactly.
Would I like to see a little bit more progress with the planning board before the commission does something? Yes, but that's not for my decision. That's just my opinion.
And I think this came up a little bit in the ZBA meeting, that we're kind of having to struggle with each board saying that, so, selfishly, this would be helpful just to have progress, because the planning board's kind of saying the same thing. We want, this from the ZBA, and we want to see this from conservation. So, again, just not to repeat myself, but I'd like to think we have satisfied the issues regarding conservation and can move and can close this to help us continue on the planning board side of things.
As long as we know that if you had to change plans and had to
Absolutely.
go further into resource areas, you have to come before us again.
And
so.
yes, and even if we don't have to go further into resource areas,
Yeah.
we would be keeping you informed as a matter, just like I copied you on the letters to planning boards, we would be keeping you informed of the change. And I'm sure you'd be aware of it.
Yeah, or
working in
if the
town.
project does get abandoned and doesn't follow through, that it'd be nice if the commission was notified so we could just
Sure, absolutely.
do a certificate of compliance with the, no work started, so I could just clear the board.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, we'll close
I
that
always
out.
like to just linger, and it drives me nuts.
Although I would, I would say, there's a possibility where,
3 years down the road, you come.
well, yeah, things are on hold for 6 months or a
Yeah,
year where we wouldn't
just
want to do
something,
anything.
something in a
close it
file,
out.
just so I would know,
Yeah,
just
no, just to say that out
in
loud.
case something happens to me, the next person would know.
You're here in
another
perpetuity,
pandemic.
Heather.
I know, I'm
We've
gonna
already
live and
established
die
that.
in this building. It's fine. I just,
What are your thoughts, George, proceeding?
Yeah, we can proceed. I mean, we keep the hearing open anyway till it's all finalized and signed.
Yep.
So we've got that we wait at least.
How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could start drafting up stuff.
The planning board will meet again on this project before we do.
They will?
You okay with that, Jen?
Oh, they will. Yeah,
Jess?
yeah.
Okay. Well, any other discussion before we vote on this?
Would you like me to go ahead and start drafting this special order of conditions to discuss at the next meeting?
I guess that's,
Is that what we're looking at?
I think so,
I
right?
think it's motion to approve the notice of intent and draft an order of conditions. That still leaves us wiggle room if we had to adjust anything.
And does that close the public hearing?
No,
Oh, no.
we don't close that until
Until the issuance of the order of
we
conditions.
sign it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure.
yeah.
So is there a motion to approve the notice of intent, DEP file number 100-0485, number 201 to 205 West Main Street, as presented, and separate motion for the orders?
No, I think
And then
that's just one
draft,
thing.
draft orders of conditions.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.
Excellent.
Anything else?
So you meet next the 12th?
Yes.
October?
Yes.
Do you anticipate that being a time to come back and talk about a draft? We meet the,
10th with the planning board.
is it? I'm sorry, I have a lot of hearings in my brain. So we meet the 10th with the planning board, not that that's contingent on it, but I know you were considering that timing. I'll leave it to you, and when do you think we want to come back to discuss a draft, when you'd have that?
It's up to the commission if they want to wait and see how that, I mean, I want to see how the planning board goes on this. I can start drafting conditions. I can probably get a couple. It depends on if you need to review them, how long it takes the board to review them, if anything's going to change from the planning board meeting, if I need to change those and then get those back out. I have a day to do so and a day for the board to review them. So that's up for you.
Well, you could begin drafting one and get comments from Drew, and then it's
Absolutely.
still provisional based on if there's significance change in the
Yeah.
planning board, then we
Okay.
just hold up.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then make sure it includes the things about, say, the perpetual thing for inspections.
Yep.
For at least the first few years.
Yeah, the changes to the operation and maintenance plan of the snow storage with
And in
the
that
salt
period,
alternatives.
you can confirm the calcium chloride and potassium chloride usage.
Calcium bicarbonate and.
Or what it,
Potassium.
Potassium chloride.
It's potassium chloride and, yeah,
calcium carbonate.
and calcium carbonate.
And a sign on site.
And the signs, yes, and I always say the same thing, that there needs to be signs saying snow storage because,
With tamper-proof hardware.
Yeah.
snow storage is the first thing that just gets put wherever and something's convenient. So it always, in my opinion, always needs to be signed.
So we'll plan to meet on the 12th, and we can kind of deal with that as
Yes,
the draft
yeah,
and
as a-
comments, and we can kind of deal with that as it comes.
As a living document, yeah, I will work on that.
You never, no disturbance signs up too, right? Especially along the wall. I can see that as
Oh,
driving in and
Yes,
Oh, that's a good
and
point.
chucking garbage over the wall. I
And
see
Mark
that.
had mentioned to me earlier too, in regards to the erosion controls, looking at having double rows in some of the areas because of the steepness going down. So
Sure.
that might be put in there too, as far as having additional erosion controls in certain areas on
You have
site.
all these in your head to put in the...
I do. I'm
Sure.
just letting you know,
No,
because it
that's
just
something we
popped
do
in my
often.
head.
Absolutely.
And I want to make a note to include that.
Yeah, we noted as when we did the site walk, the mosquito-infested site walk, the massive drainage gouge, basically,
Yeah.
heading down to that potential vernal pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to try and protect as best as possible, especially during construction,
Sure. No, that's, and like you said, on a steep slope like that, we double,
Okay.
we double do it. That's not
Yeah.
new.
We've seen a lot of
I should know, I don't know if I mentioned...
blowing out and such. so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The planning board, so I was not there, for another person from my company was there. Luckily, he drew the short straw for your walk, but we did a site walk also with planning, just for the record, and I was there, but it was much more pleasant than what I heard you guys had to deal with. Yeah.
sucking and
Still have the welts.
so you want our conservation no dumping signs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
And
okay,
Heather, you could do it, you could figure out an estimate of how many,
yeah,
okay.
I can do that as well. Yeah, I would probably put those along the guardrail. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, that's the guardrail, just kind of
Yeah, it may be something that we have to,
west of the 100-foot buffer there.
yeah, the number of those might be something that has to be come up with at the time of COC, just because I'd have to see how it looks on
Yeah.
site. But
Okay, so
we
you
put
can-
in there that they will be needed in number to be determined prior to
Exactly.
COC. I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
Motion.
problem.
Good to continue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going
Anything
to
else
forget that
before?
one. I was going to forget about that one.
Motion to continue the public hearing, DEP file number 100-0485, 201 to 205 West Main Street until October 12th.
So moved.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.
Excellent, thank you very much. You guys are always at 7 o'clock, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't do any harm by pulling out my little thumb drive, do I?
No, that's fine. Otherwise I forget to give it back.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Nice to see you.
You too.
That one in there, I don't know which that is.
Thank you.
Close that out. Thank you.
Good night.
Right.
Good night. Next item this evening is the enforcement order, Air Solar 2. Gentlemen,
It's all right here.
how are you?
Yourselves?
He's been on site all day. He wants the comfy one.
Alrighty, so we're here for,
Yeah, so last week, I issued an enforcement order for the site due to the, based off the violation letter that I sent the previous week that I mentioned at the last meeting in regards to the sediment that had gone and blown out of the, past the silt fence barrier and hadn't been cleaned up in a manner which was requested. So I issued the enforcement order and required that a detailed restoration plan be submitted. That restoration plan was received on Monday at 11, and I met with Rohita on site along with Brianna on Wednesday. Work hasn't started. There was pictures that were sent to me this afternoon from Rohit showing pictures of the work being done on site. So it has been, as far as I know, I haven't gone out to look at it. But, so they have done some of the work on site. I believe the commission has to vote to ratify the enforcement order. I haven't done enforcement orders in a long time, so forgive me if I don't remember how the process works 100%.
George knows.
George is the guru.
It's been at least 10 years since I've done an enforcement order, so you'd have to forgive me.
and the enforcement order was issued against
Against air solar, against air
the
solar.
blowing out of the,
Yeah, do the sediment with,
and the sediment that,
the sediment that got transferred over to the, beyond the silt fence barrier into the wetlands.
so that was a fairly major event.
Yeah, so I listed in the enforcement order, it was under general conditions 18, which is a state one for the sediment in the wetlands, and then special condition during construction C, all the way through C5 and G, I can't remember the numbers, but there was several of them within a special conditions as well. So there was at least 3 or 4 violations on site.
Just as a reference, this is the outlet. When originally installed, there was trap rock in a reverse U, I guess I'll call it, with the river rock inside. This is the limit of work, and he's actually picking up one of the 2 layers of silt fence right now. So when the water came through, that actually overcame these 2 barriers of silt fence and continued on. Just as a point of reference, and then you guys keep doing what you're doing, and then we'll get to the point where we
Yep.
talk.
Yeah, so it went, from what I could tell, we couldn't get down there because the amount of water and the vegetation, we couldn't get down there to really see it. But from the top of the crossing, the culvert, it probably 6 inches to a foot in. The first time, the second time, it did look like it went out even further on Wednesday. We did, unfortunately, when I issued the enforcement order, the rain, it kept going back and forth through the weekend, and my fingers were crossed that it wouldn't be bad, but I wasn't in the area, and I think it rained a little heavier than we were all anticipating on Saturday. So it may have processed and moved a little bit further down, I'm not sure. It was hard to tell. It looked like some deer had made a nice bed in the area too, because some of the vegetation was falling over, and I'm like, that looks weird, but I think it was deer that were laying down in the area. So whether they had kicked some rock around too in their process, I don't know. But.
Now, in this picture there to the left, like behind the guy, is that flowing water?
Yeah, so that's
through?
because of the silk fence barrier that's there, the water has been flowing to a point and then down the side of the retaining wall, all the way, almost all the way into where the first replication area is. So it's constantly being fed, so which is nice.
Okay.
Anybody see this happen?
It happened in that, I'm guessing that Monday that we had all that heavy rain. That's what I'm assuming when it happened.
Well-
It had been raining off and on fairly heavily from we left on Wednesday.
Sunday was
Noticed
heavy.
that big end.
That
Oh,
Sunday, we had 4 inches.
Yeah, we had 4
And
that
then
Sunday, then Monday we
Monday
had
had
more.
2.5.
And then the day that I issued the comment that it had blown or it was going to, it's because it was a 3 or 4 week question of having the area cleaned up before it had gone over the side. We would get 2 or 3 inches of heavy rain every week for that entire month process of this. So to the extent of what had occurred, I'm going to assume that it happened most likely on that Sunday or Monday. My kids living in Shirley told me they got 6.5 inches in Shirley that Monday when Munster got their 11.
Yeah.
Was it an issue that wasn't constructed according to plan?
Correct. That was
Well,
the
my
first
question
issue.
is, if it was constructed according to plan, if it was, would that have blown out?
Never know.
I know, but it seems like,
If it was done, if it was built according to plan, and it blew out, then we'd have an issue with the design. So I would hope,
Yeah.
for Nick's sake, that it wouldn't have, because then we'd be questioning his design of his plans.
Well, the way it would have been if it was installed as designed versus the reverse U, as you said, right?
Yeah. It was
What
a
was the-
steep, it was a pile. It wasn't flush with the ground like the plan showed.
Okay.
And in regards to anything inside the channel, every week we went and looked, that never really shifted. It only shifted at the outlet.
Okay.
There was never any bare ground within this channel. There was always rock in there. It does, and I think it's just the flow of the channel. It likes to kick to that right side, but now that those core logs are in place and staked, put back in place, it just likes to shift to that right side. It doesn't like to stay straight in the middle. It will, a little bit will trickle down the middle, but the majority of the flow is on that right side, and I think that's just the way that the stream wants to go. Because every time we've gone through and they've fixed it and leveled it out, it still does it. And I think that's just where the stream wants to go. And that's just how I'm looking at it. I'm like, it's fine. It's not eroding. It's not washing anything out. Everything's stable inside there. That's just where the channel wants. That's just where the stream's going. Fine by me.
that's the right spot then.
Yep. Because I've looked at it, every time I look at it, that's where it continues to want, so that's just where it wants to go. Because there is a nice pool at the inlet that gathers, especially since they've gone through and fixed everything, because they did the whole channel over when they did this UN, whatever it is, I always call it the U. All that the inlet looked great, the channel looked great, it was just that outlet that had the question, and then we had, a couple weeks later, the blowout that happened.
Anything else?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Yes, sir.
I just want to get going on my spiel. I don't want to preempt the vote for them to ratify.
Oh, yeah,
the
to
enforcement
ratify.
But to answer the question, if it was done to design, it's unknown. I think that the problem is actually the silt fence. The silt fence is acting as a barrier, and under the larger rain events, it's creating a pool where you have velocity that's being throttled down to near stop to create a pool. And that creates the turbulence that allows that upside down U in that area to start kicking up and churn up the rock. That's what it is. Would it have blown out? Don't know. But one of the things we'd like to talk to the commission about tonight is update them on the work that was done today, what the status of it is right now, what we'd like to do tomorrow as far as, completion of the cleanup work and the crossing, as well as talk and investigate about the removal of the silt fence immediately down gradient of the outlet to allow that water to continue forward. I have a couple of videos and things that I'd kind of like to show you if I can do that. So
The stuff to the left of your pictures, pictures on the bottom. Does that like before they kind of got in there? Is there?
So this video here is the initial cleanup, and I just wanted to pause it just to, I don't know if I can get out of here, but what you'll notice is that the trap rock on either side stayed the same.
Yep.
And what you had is the movement here where the water wanted to move forward. And this is before they picked up the silt fence barrier. So you'll notice.
Yeah, the
he's
stone's all
standing on-
burying the silt fence right at the moment.
Correct,
Yeah.
but you'll also notice that there's no, I can send these to you, Jeff.
No, I'm good.
Okay. You'll also notice the level of the ponding on either side and around his shoes. So this is them immediately scraping up the river rock and reestablishing it, raking it back. You'll notice that there is some standing water over here where the hay bale is. And now, this is immediately after picking up and reestablishing the silt fences, which now you see he's lost a foot. This is the gentleman, the rocks that went past the silt fence, we were actually able to just hand pick those. I think he only filled up one, maybe 2 buckets full. So not much got past the silt fence barrier.
A lot was on the two, because we had double silt fence there.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of the rock was actually just sitting on the silt fence.
Okay.
So,
And the last one, again, been picking up the stones, but you can see the amount of water that's already building up. He's not throwing, there's a bucket here, he's not making of another pile. So this is the picture that we have kind of right after that last video that I just showed you. And this is the state as they left it today. Hold on, Jess, let me get a better one. There you go. So this is the more in line with the design plan from a standpoint of having higher ground on either side of the outlet, the river rock coming out and flaring out to create and allow this flailing around. Yep. We'll see what the rain events bring. And this is the way that the channel looks as we left it today, which, this is one good picture, but you'll notice again, the heavy vegetation growing up there, the hay bales, you have the silt fence that's up and the amount of ponding that's on either side. And then this is just, as you can see, we pulled the trap rock out. This is also a nice photo from a standpoint of the amount of vegetation that's along the retaining wall. But we didn't take one going towards the restoration area.
It's when you stand on that retaining wall, it's almost your height. That's how tall it is. It's
And then
The vegetation.
the vegetation is huge.
And then this is actually the inlet, this is the rock culvert. The reason that it's favoring the right side is that there's actually a rock here. So this flow's coming out and basically just ping-ponging and coming around. So what we actually did is took larger rocks, do form and reinforce this area and attempt to ping pong it back into the center. Yeah, it's during high flow events, truthfully, they're probably just gonna overcome and
Yeah.
shoot right down, but in low flows, we could see that it was, trying to redirect it more towards the middle. So, this right now is at a point where we feel that it meets the plans. It still needs to be top dressed. And the fourth item in the action,
Top dressed?
top dress, a little bit more stone,
Okay.
more river rock. The fourth item in the action plan that we presented, the action plan, was the top dressing augmentation of the river rock. We have at our, available to us, a larger diameter of river rock. It's still the rounded, it doesn't look like the trap rock down at the bottom. It looks like the river rock here. All it means is that it's a larger distribution. It would be 6-inch minus rather than 4-inch minus. So the largest diameter would be 6 inches. We threw that out as a suggestion of, one, we don't want to keep doing it. We don't want to keep coming back and talking to you. We think that the 3 to 4 inch minus is sufficient, but I also can't, keep a straight face and tell you that it's not going to rain another 11 inches some other time and that this isn't going to happen again. We're looking at it as this is the fourth time now that we've adjusted, fixed it, reconfigured it. Just don't want to do it again. So that's why we offered that. That 6-inch minus would top dress over the river rock that you see here now. And
How much?
one layer at maximum. And what that would do also is that those larger 6 inches, during normal flows, those actually act as energy dissipators as well, kind of the same way that the inlet works. But basically what it would be looking at is you'd have larger anchors that the smaller rocks would be able to rely on if the flow wanted to start moving them. That's really it is. Honestly, calculations, scour calculations, things like that, 4-inch minus works just fine. This is the proposal to do 6-inch minus is nothing more than belt suspenders, staple it to your body so that it doesn't fall down. So that's where we're at. Tonight, when you first heard that we'd also like permission to remove this silt fence, that's the first time we brought it up. I didn't want to put that in an email and let that thought simmer in heads. But, I think as we said and as everyone notices, just from the videos themselves, they're acting as a dam and creating a pool of water that allows the turbulence and allows things to turn over, and then the larger storm events just cause more issues. So those are the big things I'd like to talk about relative to the crossing. We have Rohit here. We have a contractor lined up to top dress the channel tomorrow. I disagree a little bit that changing the diameter of the plan would be considered a modification to the plan set, but I'm here talking to you.
No comment on that's later on the agenda.
But we would basically, we're here, might as well talk about it, get your thoughts on it. It's going to be top dressed tomorrow. It can be top dressed with the same stuff that's on the plan, or it can be the larger diameter. So that's a call and a text Rohit will make after we leave today. I know it's not dealing with the enforcement order, but as we're talking about removing the silt fence immediately down gradient of the outlet of the culvert, we'd also like to start removing the silt fence and hay bales for a good portion of the balance of the site. The driveway is heavily clovered on the side slopes, places like that. Certainly would like to get that out before it freezes, and when we can, if any disturbance to that vegetation, give it a chance to grow back. There's certain portions, there's certain sparse portions within the solar array that we would probably want to leave the silt fence in place. The paving work, the edge of the paving has been removed, the paver is lined up, so we would probably want to leave the majority of the silt fence from Washington Street, through down gradient of where the paving is. We don't want to take that out until that work is done. But that's the general thought that we'd like to start to discuss with the commission.
Is
said the top dressing would be the 6-inch minus whatever, but across the whole thing from inlet to outlet or just at the outlet?
As discussed earlier, it was the whole thing,
I would like, just to prevent more rock.
All the way through.
all the way through, which would also include the inlet side, so you can see that river rock, is here. This was a little bit turbulent and moved it around, so we would start right here and right on through.
And in regards to that, the next agenda item is to discuss that change. In my conversations with DEP on the site, they suggested any change to the plan needs to be taken to the Conservation Commission to be voted on, whether it's minor or a requesting of a modification to the plan. So we can discuss that after and make that determination.
And that big deflector rock, has that always been there?
Yeah.
Way back when, the beginning of the site, I think last fall, might have even been sooner, that might have been like last August or July, the culvert had collapsed, work was done, it fell down. They picked it back up, whether that was part of that and it just wasn't picked back up, I don't know. I hadn't been on site and long enough to tell you that, but that could have come from that whole part of it, but it has been there for quite a while.
It's one of my favorite things to do, is almost every time on site, I try to kick it, see if I can move it. And so, it hasn't been successful yet. It's like a sword in the stone for me. Get out of here.
Thoughts on that, Jen? The size of the rock, I guess, initially? Jess?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
George?
Fine with what?
Going from 4-inch to 6-inch.
Yeah. You get suspenders along with the belt, take it.
Why not? Seems okay to me. The other thing you want to discuss is the removal of the silt fences.
Yes.
And the hay bales too, or?
So hay bales throughout the site, but there's no hay bales actually at the down gradient.
There's no hay bale
Well,
there?
just
Well, there was.
if you look,
There
they're
is.
Right in there.
here, right underneath all this vegetation, off the side of the flow channel itself.
Do you want us to?
Are you gonna take those out? Like,
We'd love to.
Pull the vegetation.
Yeah, so in regards to the amount of water that pools there, that is indeed in fact because the silt fence is there. It's been mentioned on site prior to this last year, that was the reason why that was occurring, and the request needed to come in, but again, the work wasn't done. The issue the one issue I have with removing the silt fence now, that vegetation is awfully thick and tall. I said it is 5-6 feet tall in some areas, and it's very thick. My concern is pulling that out, whether it will help fill water, 100%. Is any disturbance to that vegetation to pull it out because it's so thick. My thought would be if we are to remove it, to wait till the first killing frost comes through so that vegetation is dead before we yank it out, to limit any disturbance to that resource area, because it is right there. All of that work is in the resource area, including that stream crossing. This is why we have 2 replication areas, because we filled it in order to do this work. So that's my thought in a project. And no offense to, because we've had the blowout already, we have any rain come through with this top rock in, having that silt fence there, just, okay, we know what works, then we can take it out. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just almost an insurance to ensure that this new design will work. But I do have concern with removing of the silt fence because the amount and thickness of that, as well as the retaining wall, still hasn't received a sign off from the building department at this time.
You're going to remove silt fence in that area only?
Yeah, I just want to, basically the width of where you see the river rock from here to, this other side here.
So very limited.
Okay.
It's a 15 to 20 foot stretch.
That's the original clarification.
And
Thank you.
honestly, it wouldn't be removing the hay bale and the silt fence past that right now, because opening that up will allow this to drain and flow, which would help hopefully drain and let the hay bales that are currently saturated dry out and things like that.
Have an issue with that? Removing the silt fence? in that area?
In that specific, yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think we sort of have to see how this works. I mean, it's close to completion, or it's complete now, so.
Right.
It just is, so we'll see if it works, or if we have to, if we take out the silt fence. So I'm fine with removing it in that area. And then if we discover there are still problems, then we can address that
Right.
down the road.
Good point.
So,
What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
George?
Are you gonna have to do any regrading off on this side?
No, that's the resource area. No.
No, but along the fence where the water's flowing now?
No.
It hasn't covered a channel there or anything?
Might have, but, we'd
Vegetation
have
built
to,
up.
yeah, we'd have to get the water out of there first to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been hitting the hay bale there and taking a left and flowing down and overtopping, I think, for a year and a half, 2 years now. It's been flowing pretty good in standing water. So I think opening this up will allow us to see, but as Heather said, the vegetation, this side of the photo as it's going is very thick. So if there is a channel or a depression there, I think that it's already been filled in with vegetation and roots and stalks and things like that.
Okay. I think we're okay with the removal of the silt fence and that.
Very good. And then 0.4 or 5 inches tomorrow, I believe, tomorrow afternoon should be done. Nothing like getting it done and giving it its first test. So
Good.
½ inch tomorrow, I think, quarter inch on Saturday. So by this time, next week, we should have a pretty good test of what's happening.
Yeah, just pray for a big gully washer too, right? And see how it really works.
Something. We're putting a trap door on the inlet, and that way we just stop it.
Start seeing people canoeing down Madigan Lane over into Ayer Solar too, we're gonna have a problem.
I don't really know where we're at there on the agenda items, I'm sorry.
Skipped around a little
We've kind
bit.
of moved everything around what needs to be voted on.
They still about to ratify on the enforcement order, because I believe that needs to get done. Again, told you it's been over 10 years since I've had to issue one, so.
So we need to vote to ratify the enforcement order?
No,
Okay.
and don't be,
Is there a motion to,
look at
how do you say it?
Ratify the enforcement order?
There you go. Is there one of those?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Did you get that, what I said?
is it George had to correct
Oh, sorry.
John extensively
Again.
to get the language right? Yeah, I got that.
So everyone said, opposed, say nay. Yes, passes unanimously, yes.
Could I just ask the board to vote also to accept the submitted action plan as
Yes.
well as change and the removal?
Yes,
of the
so,
silt fence?
so the point now would be to go through and verify that the conditions of the enforcement order have been met. Just so you'll know too, when I did issue it, I didn't do a cease and desist, just for the pure matter, we wanted the work to continue
sure.
on site, and didn't want to stop it, pure for the reason that the flow of the channel, I didn't want to be like, oh, no, cease and desist until you come and have a giant rainstorm come in and bite me in the butt. So we specifically did it on purpose to work continually with the applicant and the engineers to get the item fixed as soon as possible. It's always the goal to just fix the issue and never have to get to this point, so.
Yeah. Okay. So is there a motion to approve the changes being,
So the restoration action plan was submitted on September 25th.
that?
And the work has been started as of today, which is September 28th, and will be completed tomorrow on the 29th. I will go out and verify the work if he allows me to go.
Yeah, I'll let you
tomorrow.
know when it's work done. I don't know until I didn't know
I-
what
I
type
leave-
of rock I have to.
Yeah,
order.
I leave it too.
So he's
If it's
gonna-
not done by 2, I'll still swing
Okay.
by if that's all
I'll let-
right.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll be with you in the morning, so I'll let you know when I actually find out when he can pick up the rock, first thing in the morning.
Okay, so all of that plus removal of the silt fence is,
Within that,
Do you want that as a
within the
separate?
outlet of the, and we're not gonna put that within the enforcement order, that's a separate line item. I think just having that in the minutes is well enough. I don't believe we need to vote on the removal of the.
on those changes?
Of
Okay.
those, of the silt fence.
Then we go with the larger rock.
And go with the larger rock. It's, you're seeing it as a minor change, you're not
Yep.
seeing it as a change for approval of a revised plan.
Correct.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
I will put the emails in the file, just so we know that we did, the request was there.
If it is considered a change, I'd request that you make a motion and vote that it was actually accepted as a minor
Yeah,
modification
that- yeah.
rather than.
There you go, thank you.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
That's
that
what
would need
we're
to be
voting
done. Yeah, but that would be outside of the removal of the enforcement order.
oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting confused. So
Yeah, that was, I'm sorry, we're
we have
bouncing around.
motion to approve the restoration action plan.
Yeah, dated September 25th.
Yeah. So we should vote on that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve the restoration action plan.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Opposed, nay.
Yeah.
Passes unanimously.
Now what should we vote on?
Now it's a
On
motion
the
to
revisions.
Okay.
Or the-
confirm that the modifications,
Accept the larger diameter and the
Yeah.
removal of the silt fence as accepted as minor modifications.
Yeah.
correct. Say that.
Go ahead.
Oh, did you say so moved?
He did, he said so moved.
Oh, okay, second, sorry. I'm losing my hearing.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Okay.
I hope nobody's watching this.
All right. Barry is.
Barry's watching.
He's got his eyes on us.
And I think that's it.
Anything else that we have to vote on?
Anything else on erosion or telling them about the plan?
No, nope.
Tell them about the.
Did you want, did you want to ask any questions as far as the removal of
Removal
the
of-
silt fence along the slope because of the grass is at this point, or do you want to say that for another time?
We'll do it as another time because I think that's something that Rihanna and
Yeah.
I can pose to you in an email.
I mean, every time I look at it, I go, oh, looks fine, yeah.
Oh, which part?
But we'll wait for that
Yeah.
formal request to come in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how the removal of the silt fence allows that water to get in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that too.
But-
It
And
wasn't
then
killing
that
cattails on the
also,
ground.
having Rihanna do it during a walk where she'll be able to identify things with you in the morning of
Yeah.
what stretches, you
Yeah,
know,
I
should be worked on and which one should be left.
I think,
That's for removal down the road of silt fence and Hayden?
Yeah, down the road, like tomorrow. No, you know, we'll probably start next week,
Yeah.
and they go out on.
yeah, I believe next week, we're going out on Tuesday next week?
Thursdays.
Oh, yes, Thursday. I saw the email, I didn't see the date. And it's not Wednesday next week, so that's
So
fine.
I'll let her know that we take a plan and we can start.
Yeah, we can start. Oh, yeah. I have a plan right here. I'll put it in my car.
Rihanna Summers?
Yes.
Anything else?
I don't think so. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
You generating yet, or what?
I'm off, but no, because technically, it's still not functioning properly all the time. So,
You haven't done any witness test or anything?
oh, that part we,
Oh, okay.
witness test
That's all
got completed.
Okay.
And it's just all testing right now still. The utility portion done is just a bunch of on off issues that,
Really?
yeah.
Just one question, in the email that you sent on the September 20th in regards to the CR, when you see your
Yeah,
rating
so
survey
the
stamp plan,
CR
completed by tomorrow, which would have been the 21st. Do we have that?
So the CR has been, so if you recall.
Yes.
The state reviewed it.
Yep.
The
And
town
it
of
was good.
Ayer reviewed it.
Yep.
We made all of our comments here.
Yep.
We were waiting for a signed
Mm-hmm.
CR plan. And due to the delay,
Okay.
whatever. So now we've got that.
Okay.
And Adam sent that
Okay.
to the state for one final, like, I
Okay,
guess,
all right.
signature or review, whatever. I
I'm
don't know.
trying desperately to get the 401 open ones that we have on
I'm
my.
just letting you know that those,
Great.
Adam was, I pinged him today.
Okay.
That's why I just asked if
It's-
Adam
all right.
responded, but he
Just
did
'cause-
not respond. I just letting you know is, I don't know yet, but I've asked Adam to make sure it goes to the state.
It's in process.
It's a-
Just so you know, the standpoint, how we're looking at things, because as I'm learning this process of conservation restrictions, when the commission goes through and signs and votes to sign it, the baseline report will need to be done at the same time.
Baseline's already done.
Okay, and we'll have that with that CR at the same
Yeah,
time.
baseline's
Perfect.
already completed a year
Okay,
ago with
perfect.
Oxbow.
All right, that's.
And they're only waiting for is we're supposed to have a number from the state
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that we have to put onto the baseline.
Okay.
Otherwise, the baseline becomes a problem.
Yeah, this has all been a
I'm just
process
letting
of
you
me
know,
learning as
we're
well.
We're all just waiting for the state thing.
Okay, I can just put that on my list of the ones that I'm waiting for,
And then
because this has been a
Kyle-
process
yeah.
for me too.
And then from our email, our Wednesday
Yes.
conversation, what was that, yesterday?
Yeah.
As I was talking, I texted Kyle
Yep.
from Oxbow.
Oxbow, yeah.
And he said he's hoping to get me something next week,
Okay,
okay?
very good.
So that little replication report is
Okay,
coming
good.
as well. So
Awesome. Because you were coming to the end of the first
I'm
season.
dependent on everybody to do it, but I can't do it myself. If
Yeah.
I could, I would have done it.
That's why I pay these guys.
Huh?
That's why I pay these guys.
Just say about that.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to make sure I'm keeping up with the
Yeah, I'm
CRs
trying-
that we
trust me,
have. Because if I
Heather,
don't
am-
if I don't ask you when I see you, I'll
Heather,
forget.
Trust me, Heather, I'm on top. I'm trying to be making sure all your check marks are being checked.
I appreciate it so much. I don't want to be a pain. I really don't.
No, I'm just letting you know that I'm only beholden to other folks, so.
I just have my update, so that's all I needed.
Anything else? Any other discussion?
Did we wrap up our 2 items?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I think we're done with you folks.
You're gonna regret those words. You'll never need it. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming in. All right. Next item.
Oh, goodness.
Well, we already did the
Yep, we did.
revisions. That's done. Conservation Office updates.
Okay, so do I have any for updates? What do we have? So next Wednesday, October 4th, 6 o'clock, public forum on the Flanagan Pond feasibility sites.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Here?
Here, this room,
Next Wednesday.
Wednesday, October 4th.
So I
Okay.
can show up for the first maybe
5 minutes.
40 minutes, because then I have to zip home to get on my computer for a CPC meeting at 7.
Yeah, well, just tell that to Dan, so we're not here for more than an hour, and that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Next Saturday, what is that? I don't know, the 7th, is the Newton Street Festival. The commission will have a table there. If anybody can at all help out for that day, would be greatly appreciated.
Can you tell me that date again, please?
It is Saturday, October 7th. The Newton Street Festival goes from 11 to 6. If I am by myself, that table will be closed by 3. I cannot dedicate more than 4.5 hours to this event. But I would love it if somebody else could come. We will have, per Jess's lovely sharing a video of the jumping worms. I did find a lovely flyer from Cornell University. It has tips for homeowners on them. And was able to print some out, and I will have more of those to hand out for those, as well as putting them on our presentation board, with one side being native and one side being invasive, and in the middle, and I'll try to have some tips and
I
stuff in
could
there.
grab some for you. You have a little jar of.
No. Why do you want to bring them into our town? Leave them where you found them.
Are we gonna have candy?
I can bring candy.
Or some sort of fun thing to.
I can, oh, well, I am, so what my plan is to try to
I
do.
want to attract people.
Yeah, so my plan to try to do is from the shrub class and tree identification class I've taken, I'm gonna try to get over to Pine Meadow and might have to go to another conservation area. Maple leaf viburnum actually turns dark blue when it changes color. It's not red, yellow, orange, it is blue. I did see it when I went on my shrub training. I'm hoping now that it's been cooler, I can actually find some, because what do you see that has blue leaves? That's really neat. So I'm gonna try to find that. You can make a aid out of sumac berries. So I'm going to try to attempt to make that and serve it to people if they want to try to drink sumac aid.
That might be a
like a
liability
waiver?
issue.
No, I'll test it before I serve it to people. But what?
Doesn't taste
I've had it
good.
before.
Keep it to the
You've had it
birds.
before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see how it impacts.
So
the
I'm
birds.
gonna try making that and have that, because I think that my plan for this is to be like, here's some, how to identify some invasives in your yard, what you can do, and what the benefit is. Like, everybody sees sumac and goes, oh, it's just sumac. And, oh, wait, you can make something from that. Or I did get a lens last week, and there's certain things, like blueberry, you can identify blueberry, if you're looking under the lens, all blueberries have the stems have little specks of white, and that's how you can tell it's a blueberry instead of a huckleberry, because huckleberry doesn't have the white specks, only blueberry has the specks on its stem. So I was thinking of bringing just simple little things like that with the lenses, because then people might appreciate their yards or nature a little better, thinking they can identify stuff. I don't know, I think it's neat, and I just thought some stuff like that would be fun.
Yeah.
So I'll have that, but I mean, I can always bring candy.
Yeah, we could use our budget for the candy for something like that. That would be an office supply.
Okay, I can do that.
And what's left over, you could use for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yep, I will pick some stuff up. I do have a bowl that I can use, so we will do that. But I was thinking of doing, so that was my plan for the table, was to have stuff like that.
Yeah.
And bring some, because I did get 2 new identification books too that are really detailed and nice. So I was hoping to just bring some stuff from the Pine Meadow, and some people could be like, then they learn it that Saturday. Then when next time they go out, then oh, I can spot that. Oh, I can spot that. Oh, that's neat. I do it, and I don't know. I think it's fun. Especially with just 1 or 2 things that you learn and easy ways to spot them, then once you learn it, you're good. And I thought the lens would just be fun for people, because it's fun. I mean, it's a 30-time lens, and you can see little hairs on leaves and stuff. It's cool. So I was going to do that.
I'll check my schedule.
Yep, and then, is there anything else?
Yeah, if you get some, Pine Meadow, see some wintergreen, that's always cool too, because that grows year-round.
Yeah.
But if you take a leaf off and sort of break it and smell it,
Well,
that's
so I don't know. I'm sure I can find wintergreen. No, it smells like sweet fern is what I'm going to identify. And that one you break up and it smells good. If I can find tree of heaven, which looks a lot like sumac, that smells like peanut butter.
really.
Smells like burnt peanut butter. So I'm hoping I can find some of those things to bring in,
Yeah.
because it's an identification thing on that point.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to try to see if I could find some stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing next week, is foraging for fun things to bring in. People and fun tree and shrub facts. The other item too is following Wednesday, and it's just a working group. So on the 11th, the town has started a stormwater working group that I'm sitting on. So we're working on that, which is a lot of fun. I mean, they are working with Robert and Dan to get me to start doing some stormwater inspections and what that will look like. We met last week. We haven't hammered out all the details. That was supposed to be done this week, so I got to talk to Robert about that tomorrow. So that'll be fun, because I like stormwater. So we'll be working stormwater inspections and making sure this town is following their MS4 permits.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Anyone else have any updates?
Oh, I'm following up on all the CRs.
Did you happen to go by that place, Taft National?
No, I didn't go by Taft Street. I had it
Yeah.
on my thing and something
I
happened.
forgot they were supposed to put boulders up, but I'd seen them mowing and they were seemed to be mowing along with the markings of the.
I reviewed the plans. I'll have to
But-
look at it again. So I did review the enforcement and the order of conditions, and
The boulder, weren't they supposed to be right up at the road?
I couldn't find that on the
There's a boulder,
plans.
My dog pees on it every time we go by.
There's one boulder, yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
Like, but I thought there was supposed to be more from there.
I just knew there was supposed to be something to stop the mowing, but like that we were okay with them mowing the
I tried.
portion of it.
I tried
Yeah, that
looking at
makes sense,
the.
but I guess I just remember in my head that it was, I thought the rocks were up at the front. So-
I tried looking at the enforcement order and the order of conditions. I couldn't find anything that stated that. I don't know if it was just in the minutes and never put into an order. I'll have to review it again and then review the minutes and see
You
if
did a
that's
site
where it
visit on this
was.
whole thing, I remember, right?
No, you did. So there's an enforcement order, there was a notice of intent
Pandemic.
filed, an order of conditions, special conditions. I didn't find anything in either of those that said anything about conditions as far as after construction.
Remember
Like,
when?
I just didn't, and I don't know if
Okay.
it was supposed to be in there. It wasn't. I'll search again. I'll search the
It's
minutes
free.
and see.
Pre.
It had to be.
Pandemic, so
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
we've all forgotten. The before time.
Before time. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's that.
But I'll double check that again.
Did you happen to find out, about the brackets or whatever on the Flanagan Pond sign? I don't, unless it already went up, like, again, did
It's
it?
not up.
I haven't gotten it back
Okay.
from Jeff yet. I'll
He's got the sign?
I'll email him and
Just-
have him bring this, or I can go over and pick it up, but,
Yeah, if you can get the sign, I can put it up.
okay.
We might need
Oh,
something,
That
we might
and
need
Sandy
something to
Pond
get it on,
sign.
because if it's still, if we're gonna put it back in the same hole, right? That was like a round pole, I thought, right?
Yep,
Wasn't it?
Paul and Square Peg.
I'll figure something
Oh,
out.
wait till after the meeting.
Can't be that hard,
I have another question for you.
he
after the
says.
meeting.
Might be able to take a chunk of the post. I don't know if I grabbed that. I think I have some of that at home.
How about duct tape?
Get the flex
Look at
tape
all the
that sticks
ducks
to
that are being murdered just for tape.
Super bullet.
But yeah, okay, that. And then the other thing, one of my neighbors was mentioning that, and maybe you already know this, but I guess they did get a grant and got approval to do sidewalks from basically the beach down to the schoolhouse.
So Dan had a public forum on that a week or so ago. I don't know, that's a DPW project. I haven't heard anything as far as that goes, but I know they did a public forum on that project, but I don't know the details of it.
Okay.
But I know they are looking at putting sidewalks in from the beach down Sandy Pond Road.
Okay, so just as
All
they
the
come
way
down
down.
though, there's a bunch of wetlands there.
Oh,
so-
well, yeah, no, they'll file, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, even the grants, they still have to go out for RFP and bids, and then,
Okay.
once they get the design, then they'll go through and do the permitting process. So that's a ways down the road. But I know
Yeah.
there is the plan to put sidewalks there, which is everyone's, in town, we're excited. We hope people outside of, residents in town don't think we're just doing one project and not know there's other issues with the beach area. But baby steps, one project at a time, we're getting there. Dan's doing a great job.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I'd love to walk into town safely.
Right.
What's the
Yeah.
fun in that?
What's
Hey.
that?
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
I live in Pepperell. I have sidewalks. They're just this. They're all crooked. Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, they haven't touched the sidewalks in a number of years. We have them. I'm grateful. They're just you get foot cramps walking on them.
Anything else?
Oh,
No, that's all I got.
somehow I pressed record.
Oh,
Texting
no.
someone our whole
Well, and just so you know too, I have been working on trying to get the CRs that we do have open in town. The status of the Shaker Mill Pond has been submitted to the state for their review. I did ask the attorney about the baseline. Apparently, they are working on the baseline document for that one as well. So we will hopefully, once the baseline's done and then we hear back from the state, we'll have that one ready as well.
Which one
So
was that for?
Shaker Mill Pond.
Okay.
So slowly chugging away at it. I have to verify with the town planner in regards to the Curly Circle. where we are with that one, about getting the baseline on that one done, because the CR for that one has been approved. We just don't have the baseline at this point. And I do need to try to get a hold of the developer for Panther Place on the project process of his, but he hasn't started any of the lots within the conservation that have orders on them yet, so I'm waiting for them to start those so I can put a bug in his ear on that one too, but I will email his lawyer again as well to follow up on those. So at least that'll get those 5 hopefully wrapped up.
Speaking of construction, have you been by the grid site with the gas line at all on Littleton Road?
I have, yeah, that's
Are they looking good?
yeah, every time I drive through there, they're looking good. It's, all the erosion's in place. That site's a mess when you get further down towards the gas station with all the work that DOT's doing
Yeah, and
with
that's
their
what I was
crossing.
saying. It doesn't look like they put in the separator yet, but I see they're down in the wrap, the trap rock or
I
whatever.
went down to Bakejoy a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and when I was down there, I kind of drove by to take a look at it, and because you get stuck in traffic, you really be able to sit there and really look.
Yeah.
But everything seems to look
Okay.
according to plan and stable, so.
Yeah, I'm never there while they're working. It's like,
Yeah, you don't want to be when they're there when they're working, because it's just between the traffic and the people and then the gas line, they're doing all that work at night. DOT won't let them do that during the day. I said I got the call, but when they were doing the drilling, but it was like midnight on a Sunday. I'm like, I'm not going on at midnight on a Sunday. I want to see it, but I got to be here at 8, so. But I have driven through there, and yeah, everything's moving away and everything looks good. And I know BSC is the engineer for the state on that one, and I know they keep an eye on the sites as well.
Anything else?
Did we hear anything about the drainage at the traffic circle? Was there blockage there?
Oh, I think that was just amount of rain.
Okay.
I think it was designed for whatever 25 or 50-year storm, and we got more than that.
A lot more.
I mean, because I didn't even hear about it. I was told by I think my ex-husband when he dropped my kids off and goes, "Oh, wait till they go to work." And I was waiting to see emails or road blocked or whatever on Monday, and it was fine. So whatever blockage there was, it drained itself out within a couple, within that night. So
Yeah. I think that was, I started to see comments on the community Facebook page that night, and that was the day we had the 4 inches.
yeah. You just did everything. Sheets flows from Littleton that way. That's the low point. And if nothing went over the road from Blotch Pond, I think we were good. I think did what it was supposed to do, right? Stayed in the traffic circle and didn't really affect the road and the pond too much. So that was, I guess, did what it was supposed to. It's just was a lot and built up.
Mm-hmm.
As these 200-year or 500-year things become,
Yes, which
we're screwed.
I think the thought is that EPA is going to change their MS4 permits, which make them stricter, which will cause the towns to make their stormwater bylaws. I think ours now states they have to design a 100-year storm, and that went into effect in 2021. So I think you'll see that become more common across the board, if not even stricter than that.
Yeah.
And then the comments are to have DEP review their sections of the stormwater permits as well.
Yeah, my detention pond still got water in it.
Yeah, is
The
it?
groundwater is up high, for sure.
Yeah.
It's saturated.
Anything else?
Oh, when you talk to Mike Callahan from Beaver Solutions, just find out when he's going to do his regular inspections.
Sure.
Maintenance inspection.
Yeah. I don't know if that was part of what came of the issue or not. I don't know. I'll ask him. I will do that. Oh, the final treatment for the ponds was done. We got that report. I didn't send it out, but I will because it's not the year-end report. And they said
It was a week ago, wasn't it?
yeah, everything was looking good in doing everything it was doing in positive. Oxygen levels were within good range. So, yeah, and when the year-end report comes out, I'll make sure to send that out. And make sure it gets posted to the website. That's probably going to be within the next, I'd say, couple weeks.
And my neighbor found, was taking out some fencing that was blocking an area in the pond. And there were egg masses on the silk fence thing. Did you see that?
What the heck is that?
It's an invertebrate egg mass. And she found something later, but it's an indicator of healthy water.
Healthy water? Oh, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Flanagan's Pond is crystal clear.
Yeah, the
Stick that
comments
thing
on it
there.
were very well, and they did do spot treatments to help with some of the density of the water lilies.
Did they mention if they saw any more water chestnut in that area?
Nope, there was no comment on water chestnut. It wasn't even on the list, so obviously whatever they saw, the first treatment they got.
Good. I went looking for it, but I didn't know where they were, so I didn't see it, but
Well, you would know what they look like, so.
I know what they look like. I'm not even going to ask. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.